Jefferson hit by Batty, balls on the ground.
Tyler Batty last year led the Big 12 in QB hurries. I expect more out of him than that.
Oh, sweet mercy, Tyler Batty.
Tyler Batty in on special teams. He does everything for BYU.
Welcome back into the Cougar Tracks podcast. I'm your BYU insider, Mitch Harper. This is always sponsored by KSLSports.com. And every single week here on the Cougar Tracks podcast, joined by BYU defensive end, all Big 12 selection, Tyler Batty. And this week we've got so much to unpack. The big win in Dallas, 18-15 victory over the SMU Mustangs, and then a trip to Laramie, Wyoming, as undefeated BYU, 2-0 BYU, gets ready to take on the Pokes. And Tyler, good to chat with you. We got a lot to discuss.
Yeah, it was. It's been a busy week.
That win over SMU, how rewarding was that moment for this team?
It was awesome. I think to go in and play a really good team with a really high-powered offense, good defense, to be able to come out on top of that game felt really good.
18-15, and you look at the score, it was a SMU team that was averaging 54 points, 9-game home winning streak, and they didn't have a single touchdown. How rewarding was that?
Yeah, that was big time. It really was. That was, something we were all really stoked about. I think you look at the scoreboard and it's like, you gave up 15 points. Maybe that's not as much as we would like to have given up, but when it comes down to it and you're looking at 5 field goals and no touchdowns. I mean, I think overall, the defense played really well. And that helped us win the game.
How much adjustment was there in game for the defense when SMU settled in on Kevin Jennings?
Honestly, not a whole lot. Their offense is pretty similar, with both quarterbacks. Granted, Jennings runs, right, a little bit more. He's going to run the football a little bit more himself, scramble, and try to pick up yards with his legs. Our game plan really didn't change, though. That's something that we had prepared for, something that we were aware of and ready for. And so it was just, hey, shut down the QB run. If they go QB power, if they go QB counter, any of the zone read stuff, just do your job and make the play.
That felt like the best performance for the BYU defense since Jay Hill took over. And of course, Coach Hill was back, calling the defense. He was in the box once again, but 3 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, fumble recovery by Jacob Robinson, a heady play by him, 7 quarterback hurries. And this whole defense, it just felt like you guys were playing fast. It just felt like a great performance.
Yeah, no, and I think it was. I think, of course, there's things that we could have done cleaner. But I think looking at it from that perspective, I think I agree. I would say that is our best defensive performance under Coach Hill. I think it's also, gives people a little bit of perspective, when it comes to changing coordinators, you know what I mean, offensively or defensively. Things don't change overnight. You hope they will, you pray they will, whatever. But I think it's it's taken us this long to get where we are. You know what I mean? It's taken us over, all last season and into this season. To have a performance like that where, I would say that, against a really competitive team, we not only played really hard. I don't think it's ever been about playing really hard. Our team does that, right? Yeah. But I think executing wise, defensively, I think this is one of the first games where it was like, all right, we're getting there execution wise, and so it's exciting because we'll just continue to get better with the season.
The defense looks and feels like you guys are just playing fast. Was there something this offseason that you guys worked on with speed, or is it just attributed to a better understanding of Jay Hill's scheme that's allowing you guys to play faster?
Both, right? We had a full off season with our new strength staff, right? So Coach Phyllis and his crew, Colby Clausen and Skylar Main, our sports scientists, So it's a collective effort, right, from that side of the building as well to make sure guys are healthy, are running fast. I think collectively as a team, we move a lot better than we have in years past. I think we're faster than we have been in years past. And then I think there's also the other component of that is, yeah, guys understand their fits in Coach Hill's defense, right? In this new defense, guys understand their fits, they understand their technique, and they're playing right with confidence, which is going to help.
I got to go back to the beginning of the third quarter in this game. SMU's first offensive series, they call a timeout. It's a 4th and short, and during the timeout, I'm seeing you on the sideline being attended to by one of the trainers. I think it was Mortensen, I believe. And I'm seeing in the press box, you're just standing upright. I'm like, oh, what's going on? Is he going to the medical tent? I don't know what's happening, but they're looking at, I first thought it was your neck, and then it comes to be your ear, and from a distance, and again, I'm in the press box, so this is a long way away. I feel like I'm seeing a bunch of blood come out. What happened to your ear? And I see all the dried blood on your jersey. We'll get to some of the big plays later, but what happened to your ear? Because after the game, it looked like you went through a boxing match.
Yeah, no, I know there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of questions about that from the game. It was just a weird play there. Yeah, in the third quarter, just wrapping up, making a tackle. We were kind of gang tackling someone on our sideline, and I took a helmet to the ear. And so took a helmet to the ear. It happens all the time, right? You get a little pinch, right? It just stings for a second, and then on you go, no big deal. So it was annoying for a second, but it wasn't anything crazy. And I didn't realize that anything more than just a pinched ear had happened. I was like, oh, it just stings for a sec, whatever, move along, play a couple more snaps. And then, their offensive linemen start to comment on like, oh, hey, this guy's bleeding. He's got blood all over. And I'm like, shut up, dude. Like, it's probably a little bit of blood. Like don't get the ref's attention, whatever, he'll be fine. And then I looked down at my shoulder and I'm like, oh, that's a bit of blood. I wonder where that's coming from. And then just the way things went, I ended up getting subbed out. We had been in for a few plays at that point. So I ended up getting subbed out and get over to the sideline, take my helmet off. And when I'd gotten hit there, it had pinched my ear hard enough that it had pretty much just sliced it and just left just a little flap. There's just a little piece of flesh hanging on and a little flap of skin holding it on. And so the ear was bleeding like crazy. Yeah, I didn't know ears bled that much, but they bleed quite a bit. So yeah, it was just gushing blood just all over my helmet, all over my shoulders. So got it to the sideline. They tried to, clean it up and get it to quit bleeding, and back in we went.
Wow. Did you need any I don't know what I'm looking for here, the cosmetic surgery this week to repair your ear? Are you good with the ear now?
So after the game they stitched it up. So I've got like 5 stitches I think in there. Just to clean that up, and but outside of that, they did that post game, and outside of that it's been fine. So
yeah, in the moment too, in the third quarter again, it's hard to tell because I thought, is that blood? It felt like there was a stream of something coming from your, and I thought it was your neck at first, but then it looked like the ear, and I'm seeing your jersey kind of have a pinkish red look, a dried, and I was like, that's got to be blood, and then amidst all that too, it comes in a spot where it's a 4th down, and you had to miss the remainder of that drive, and credit to Logan Latui and Zay Banya stepping up and filling in relief. I thought, once again, a testament to this defense that one of the top players is out, still next man up, stepped in and held them once again to a field goal. It was an underrated storyline, I thought, to that game. So glad you're doing okay with the ear, first off. And clearly you were doing okay because later in the game, you had one of the most vicious hits I've seen you make in your BYU career. You've had some good hits, but take us through that hit on Jennings and how sweet that moment was. Just walk us through that moment.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. So, we get back in the game, we get going, and we end up, later in the game bringing a boundary pressure there, from the short side of the field. Um, I was kind of dropping into coverage, but it ends up being run. So I kind of just start to flow towards the ball, and here comes Jennings, and so it was just one of those moments. You're like, oh, all right, here. It wasn't much different than any other, tackle. It was just like, I've got a free shot on this guy, and let's see if we get that ball to come out. Let's see if we can, discourage his run game a little bit, and the attempt was successful. So
Clearly, because he was having some success early on. I think just maybe a filling out process. It was by design. SMU was going to go to him, drives 3 and 4, and then drive 6. He takes over for Preston Stone after that, because you guys just dominated Stone. It was, I mean, they could not move. They had to make a change. But then clearly that hit, I mean, he was a little more hesitant to run the football. Clearly, yeah, that was a great hit. And what was crazy too, from my view, was the press box. It was a very isolated press box. It was hard to hear much from the outside in the stadium, but that hit you could hear in the press box. It was awesome. I think my live notes. I have a sheet of notes that I'm writing that go beyond kind of the stats and whatnot, just kind of like what's running through my mind live. And I put, my goodness, Tyler just had one hell of a hit. That was just like, that was next level hit. I mean, that was awesome.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I don't think he enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it.
That was a great hit. It was a great win too. And it was honestly, all 3 phases did have their moments. And I know that on the outside, people are a little bit frustrated with the offense. And look, I think even Jake admitted too that, the offense has got to get better. But, each phase, special teams with Farron hitting the game winner, this team is just going to find a way. Is there value to, winning in some regards, a rock fight where you don't have to have a high scoring output, and this defense will still pull through and get the job done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, I think as we continue to work on complementary football, just playing off of each other, we will see a little bit, more points on the board. But again, there's just going to be some games where they have to be won this way, right? And if you want to win the game, you've got to find a way to do it. That may not always be the prettiest, it may not always be the flashiest. And 9 times out of 10 in those gritty games, it's going to come down to your defense, right? If the other team can't score points, they can't win the game. And so that's, at the end of the day, that's our mentality on defense. You know what I mean? It's just, hey, look, if it's, we know the offense is out there, giving it their best shot, doing everything they can. We understand, right, that we're going to see some good defenses. We're going to see some good defensive play. Sometimes it's just not, things aren't going to click. We understand, like, there's unforeseen difficulties sometimes, whatever it may be. If we want to be a successful team in those games where things maybe aren't going our way, we've got to find a way, right? We've got to find a way to win. And, a lot of the times that's going to come down to the defense just not allowing the other team to put points on the board.
Is there a greater appreciation for wins with this group after what you guys experienced last year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the past 2 years, you know what I mean? The guys that have been with us, for the past 2 years, 22 and 23, they weren't great seasons, right? They were underwhelming. They were frustrating. And so guys, yeah, absolutely. Don't take wins for granted, right? It's not like 2020 and 21 where you just feel like you kind of show up and do your thing and we're going to come out with a win. You know what I mean?
No question.
It's hey, we're going to have to fight tooth and nail to get this done. And guys are ready to do that. That's the biggest thing, is they're just like, hey man, whatever it takes, let's go find a way to win.
I want to highlight some of your defensive teammates, because this defense, it's not just you, it's not just 2 or 3 guys. I mean, top to bottom, this defense is playing some great ball, and just you could sense that confidence building in fall camp. But Harrison Taggart is a great story because he had to step in to the limelight where Ben sadly had to shut it down because of his shoulder. Harrison, though, man, he was hitting too. He was laying some big hits as well in this game. He finished with 8 tackles. Just what can you say about what Harrison is bringing to this defense at the Mike linebacker spot?
Yeah, Harrison does a great job. He does a great job. He's reliable. He's consistent. Like you said, he'll bring the heat. You know what I mean? He's not afraid. He's not afraid of contact, right? I love Harrison. I love being on the field with him. He's a playmaker, right? And so, yeah, he was ready, right? When his name was called, it was just, yep, it was a smooth transition. There was no upset or no, feeling his way into things. He just stepped in and said, yep, let's do it. So I love that about Harry. He's ready to go. Drop of the hat.
What's Jack Kelly been like this year? And because he arrived in January coming in from Weber State, and what's his dynamic, or what's he added to this defense?
Jack is super versatile. Super versatile, and he honestly could play just about anywhere on the field. And you're gonna, we've already kind of seen him, right? Whether he's in coverage, whether he's blitzing, whether he's rushing from a 5 like a defensive end, he can get it done. He's really twitchy. He has great athleticism, great bend, and he's a high IQ player as well. You know what I mean? He understands the game of football. He understands run concepts. He understands, tendencies, and he's not, you know what I mean? He's not out there just making plays because of his athleticism. He's a really smart dude.
Defensive line had another good game. Mangelson, Nelson, Banya, Logan Latui. I mean, even Luke Tuamalatai stepped in and provided some valuable snaps as well. I mean, this defense just feels like you guys are playing with confidence. And what's next for this group? How do you maintain this and not let it just be a one-off and make this be a weekly deal?
You just got to continue to get better, right? Definitely have not arrived, right? And guys know that, right? They understand that fully, and guys are committed to getting better. I think that's the biggest thing. I think preseason, we've talked a couple times, whether on the record or off the record, about the D-line. And, I've said it pretty much all summer. I think this is going to be one of the best D-lines BYU's seen in a long time. We're 2 games into it. So maybe that's a little, it's a little early to say, or, you know what I mean? You're shooting the gun a little early here, but I just know the guys that we have, you know what I mean? I know the experience we have. I know the work ethic these guys have. I know the grit and the resolve that these guys have on the D line. I'm really, really excited because I think we're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up. You know what I mean? We got a lot of talent and experience, and so it's going to be a fun season, and I'm really excited for our D line.
That was the best performance I've seen from a Kalani Sitake defensive line in his tenure, in my humble opinion. I've watched every step of the way of Kalani's program since he took over in 2016. I thought what happened at SMU was the best performance along the defense line. 2020 had some good performances too, and you were part of some of those. Remember that La Tech game, and Kairos was there. But just the versatility. I think it's like a I don't know, I want to say buzzword, but I just feel like that highlights a lot of players on this defense. Yourself, I mean, we can go on and on. I mean, Jacob Robinson, the play he made to go and land on the football. I mean, you got to have football IQ, the versatility on the field to be an athlete and go get the quick instincts. I just feel like that is a theme of this defense right now.
Yeah, I would agree 150%. Across the board, I think we have a bunch of dudes that, again, are ready and willing to step into whatever role they can. Yeah, and they're happy to fill whatever role the team needs. I think that's a testament to our culture, and to the culture Kalani's established, the culture Jay's established, of just like, hey, be ready for whatever when your number's called, and guys are. And so I think I think it's a testament to that. But I would agree. I mean, I think you look all over. You have, you know, all of our. I would feel just as comfortable with any of our DBs in the secondary, at corner, at safety. You know what I mean? Like at nickel, they can all move around. Our linebackers, right? You're not worried about a guy not being able to play a position, right? If we're in a pinch and we need a pinch hitter, it's like, oh yeah, throw whoever in and they'll get the job done.
Well, I think a great example that highlights that too, to your point, is someone like Crew Wakely. He's in a loaded safety room. Maybe week one he's not getting the production he had in 2023, but he stayed focused. He stayed committed to the task at hand, got ready for this game. He had a big performance against SMU. That safety unit's deep. I mean, I think that Cougar fans, like, sure, there might be some that are still saying, like, I want to wait and see for more. And I think all of you guys are ready to go out and prove it. But I just feel like there is depth here. And that's the thing that I've been saying, too, about this defense is that, I mean, I've watched BYU football for a long, long time. Top 11's always been solid, but then now it's like 2s and 3s, and you guys are competing, and the competition to maintain your number one spot or your competition to get on the field and earn reps. I just feel like it's creating this culture of competitiveness, but also wanting to win for the greater good. It's just a good dynamic right now.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. I think sometimes if that's not handled right, that competition can lead towards animosity and can create divides within a team. And there's none of that, right? Guys, again, are just like, hey, I'm gonna do everything I can to help our team win. And that's what it comes down to. And if that's me taking a couple reps off, if that's me not getting the reps I want, I'm going to fill the role that I have. And so, it's something that Jay's reiterated, quite a bit of just, hey, look, like, just embrace your role, whatever it may be. Work your butt off, embrace your role. When your time comes, be ready and support your teammates above all else. Like, support your teammates, cheer for your teammates, because we are a team. And so he doesn't allow any divisiveness on the team or on the defense, which I think is really important, especially when you do have depth and highly competitive position groups, guys that are like, hey, I want to be on the field, but I'm not, and you are, but I'm not going to be salty about it. I'm going to cheer you on. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to celebrate your wins, because if you win, we all win. You know what I mean? And so guys understand that, which is huge.
It's a lot of fun to see, and I think everyone's just chomping at the bit to see this upcoming weekend against the Wyoming Cowboys. Getting ready for this Wyoming matchup, Jay Hill did open up a little bit about his not role, but how his routine has kind of changed since coming back from his health scare. He noted that he's on the balcony at the student-athlete building. Has that been different at all, having Coach Hill just observing from the radio set rather than being at field level with you guys?
It's been a little different. Jay brings a great influence and a great spirit to practice, right? Brings a great energy. But he still very much influences practice from where he sits. You know what I mean? And I think it's also a testament to our other coaches, right? All the position coaches, that they just kind of hold the standard, right? And it's just like, hey, this is just because Jay's not on the field doesn't mean things are going to change, right? It's still who we are. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And Jay's still there. They're on the headsets. They're communicating. Jay's letting them know what he wants to see and what calls and whatnot. And so things have changed a little bit, but I wouldn't say quite as drastically as one may expect. There's maybe just one less voice yelling at you when you mess up.
Fair enough. And BYU takes on the Wyoming Cowboys this Saturday night in Laramie. Have you ever been to Wyoming or been around Laramie at all?
Been through Wyoming. I have never spent significant time in Wyoming, no.
Yeah, it's Laramie's an interesting place. Now, it's going to be a sellout. Wyoming fans, they do not like BYU. Are you guys aware of that dynamic at all, that this is a big deal to Wyoming? And look, it was a big deal once upon a time to BYU. Are you kind of aware of that, just maybe the significance of what this game means for the Wyoming faithful?
Yeah, no, that's been brought up, and Yeah, so I mean, I've played Wyoming once, right, in my career in 2022. I don't think we've played them there since 2009 or something.
That's
It's
right.
been a while um since we've played up there. And so I think some of that, is lost, but I think guys, they hear that like, is it really going to be that bad? I'm like, hey man, I've heard what you've heard. I guess we'll find out. You know what I mean? So I think guys are excited though. We have a team that isn't going to be, afraid of going into a hostile environment and playing. We have guys who relish the opportunity to do that. And so I think guys are just excited, for one, for another game, and two, for an atmosphere like that.
Any carryover between that 2022 team in Wyoming, what they do offensively, to this group? I know the head coach is a carryover from Craig Bowl and that regime. So is it still kind of they want to run it and they want to keep running it? I know they kind of pivoted in that second half in that 2022 game, but is it just a run-heavy attack still from what you gather?
It is. It is. They definitely want to run the ball, but they're not in 12 and 13 personnel. Like when we played them in 2022, right? They're coming out in really heavy sets, really condensed formations. And yeah, are just trying to pound the ball. They play a lot more 11 personnel than they used to, right? So a little bit lighter personnel. I would say there's, of course, like everyone in college football right now, there's more RPO game than there was. So overall, I think it's similar. Like there's some similar concepts, but I would say it's different than what we saw in 2022.
It was that game in 2022. It's all kind of a blur. It's been a long time now, but I know that game had some of the storylines of the old rivalry then. But yeah, Laramie's an interesting experience. There's old stories of yesteryear of Lavelle Edwards saying he'd rather lose and live in Provo than win and live in Laramie. It used to be some heat back in the day in the old WAC and Mountain West days, but those are long gone, and now it just kind of feels like it's just, as Kalani said, take care of business. It's a business trip. Yeah. Go in, go out, and get the job done and play to the best of your ability.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's our focus. I don't think guys are looking past the game by any means. I think guys are very focused on going up there and taking care of business. But at the same time, I don't think they're adding more into it than there needs to be. Yep. It's just, hey, we're going to go up there. We're going to do what we do. We're going to take care of business and yeah, come home. I mean, like you said, it's a business trip. So we're going up there to play some football and have some fun, but we're going to go take care of business.
BYU, Wyoming, Saturday night, 7 o'clock. You can see Tyler in action on CBS Sports Network this Saturday. You also listen on KSL News Radio or be at War Memorial Stadium. Hopefully there's a lot of blue in the stands. I know Cougar fans always show up. There should be a good contingent. It won't be as much, I would expect, as it was in Dallas. That was epic stuff to see how many Cougar fans were there. But, Tyler, best of luck, and looking forward to seeing you on the Front Range at altitude, the thin air of Wyoming. So should be a lot of fun. It's going to have a nice fall feeling, 50-degree temps in the second half. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
That's Tyler Batty. Every single week here on the Cougar Tracks podcast, you can listen to him throughout the BYU football season. We'll talk again next week.